Whew, that ending. Oh, God. Okay, so, just got done with, fuck, what's this episode called? The Path of the Righteous. Very appropriate title. Yeah, I was kind of iffy about this episode at first, but really fucking great episode. There's some really fucking good moments in this. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out where to start. This is another Kingpin-heavy episode, and, I don't know, to kind of take that back, it's kind of evenly balanced between, Kingpin and Daredevil. For the first time, I think both stories in this particular episode are actually equally interesting. I've always found the Kingpin story more interesting than Daredevil's, to be frank, but this one is very evenly balanced. Like, I really like the direction they're going with Matt Murdock's storyline in this one. I'm going to talk about that a bit in more detail, because there was a lot to talk about. There's just a lot in fucking general to talk about this episode. One, for the first time, I've really fully appreciated just how nuanced some of these just how fucking good a lot of these performances are. Particularly, Toby Moore as Wesley, Kingpin's, right-hand man and best friend. Really fucking good actor, really sells this character, and him and Fisk work so well off each other, and you really buy that Wesley genuinely cares about Kingpin and about Fisk. And Fisk just fucking fantastic in this episode, as he's, of course, after the end of the last episode, briefly going through the story. This is an episode where Fisk rushes to the hospital to try to save Vanessa, who's been poisoned by some unknown assailant, while they're trying to figure out what's going on, who poisoned them. We still don't really know, but meanwhile, Karen's trying to convince everyone to do something about the information they found, that Kingpin's senile mother basically said that he murdered his father, which is true, but everyone kind of points out the same thing of it's a old lady's word against a now famous billionaire, and who they're really going to believe. And they kind of run through some scenarios of how and why this would not work. But Karen wants so badly to believe that. I'm getting more invested in Karen's character, especially at the end of this episode. I'm really wondering where they're going to go with this. There's a lot. Karen's storyline finally comes to a head at the end of this episode, and dear fucking God, it pays off. Great payoff to that storyline. And, so while she's doing that, Daredevil is going through his own storyline, going through his own dilemma, of course, after the whole flogging incident from the last episode. This is the one I felt like where a lot of the people calling him out as BS, and there's also a great scene between him and Night Nurse in this episode, too. But this is like the episode I felt like all the shit people have been telling him about what he's been doing, and whether it's been right or wrong, or all like the moral and ethical gray area of being the vigilante is finally paid off. In that it's there, like Matt Murdock is finally listening to what they're saying, and is kind of really questioning himself and whether or not he's doing is right. So of course he goes to the priest. That seems kind of like a comic book cliche, doesn't it? Whenever you have a moral dilemma, go to the priest. They seem to have all the answers. But it helps in this case that A, he has history of the priest, and B, the priest is also a fucking great actor and a well-developed character at this point. And he has this great little monologue about there's a lot of great monologues in this episode. There was more than any other point so far in the series. This is the one that has all the monologues, and they're all really good. And Matt Murdock and the priest have this really just frank conversation about the fact that, Murdock just straight up asks, "Do you know who I am? Do you know what I do?" And the priest says, "Yeah, I'm not a fucking idiot. I know what you are and what you've been doing." And Matt Murdock really had, this is the part where I feel like the whole battling his own personal demons really comes to a head and comes to a satisfying conclusion. When he just looks at the priest and says, "I know what I'm doing is right, but at the same time, I also know that I'm enjoying this, and the devil inside of me wants to come out." Again, playing off the Daredevil angle. But this is the type... But then the priest comes back with, well, maybe that's why God made the devil, or maybe he planned for the devil to come into existence, to act as a symbol, as a reason to come back to the faithful, to come back to the light, and all that kind of stuff, to act as a almost like as something to run away from, to run back to being a better person. And that kind of inspires Daredevil to look into, basically develop the Daredevil persona, because he tracks down whoever developed the Kingpin's like special light armor suit. And by the way, this is like another one of those. I do this a lot. I've noticed I'm doing this a lot with the Marvel TV shows, where whenever they mention a full name or even like a first name, I go on the computer and I Google it, because then I was like, oh, is that a comic book character? I don't even know. Let me look that up. But yeah, this one actually does have a comic book character. This one has Melvin Potter, aka the Gladiator, who is a very old, very, very, very old Daredevil villain. In this one, he's played much more like a giant man-child. And I don't know if that's how he is in the comic books, because I'm not too familiar with the character. But, again, very well acted. And it's almost a character I kind of want to see more of, because it has very interesting interactions with Daredevil. And they actually have a very sweet little scene together when Matt Murdock puts on the suit again and starts looking for this costume designer. Because that's what Melvin Potter is. He's a costume designer. And you even see, like, the Gladiator, like, chest plate on, like, I don't know if it was a chest plate or maybe just the logo on one of his tables. But after, like, a brief fight scene where, of course, Murdock gets his ass kicked again before turning the tables. Very strong individual. I was surprised. Like, he just picks him up. Yeah, throws him around. Actually pretty fun to watch. They have it, like... He starts just bawling like a little child, and then Matt Murdock as Daredevil has to because it's like, hey, buddy, it's okay. You know, we can work this out. This is pretty good. We're gonna work this out, and kind of works out that way. It's actually like a genuinely sweet moment in a kind of weird way, and I like that. I'm also appreciating much more of Leland Owlsley's character too. Just he doesn't have to do much in this episode aside just kind of being the middleman, but he's such a delightful little scumbag to watch. Just one of those in it for himself, just a fucking scumbag, and there's something about that just enjoyable to watch. That Kingpin also has a really good monologue, really fucking good monologue. The point where I swear I would almost use that for an audition, where he's sitting next to Vanessa in a bed who's alive, but she's in an induced coma, and he has this monologue about how he doesn't know how to pray, and he always he's tried to like mimic movies and stuff like that, but has never felt genuine, so he can't pray for her like he wants to, but he can make the people who did this suffer. And I was like, I love his character. He's great performances all around. And then you had the big climax, which is just, oh my god, which is Wesley finds out that Karen talked to Kingpin's mother and decides to go deal with it himself because he doesn't want to disturb Fisk at the time when he's really emotionally vulnerable. So he kidnaps her. And after this big, long villain monologue, which, again, was also a very good monologue, offers her a job, basically, to say, okay, now you're really good at all that, convincing people to help you out. Now I need you to convince everyone that Fisk is okay and we shouldn't go after him. She, of course, says no. So, before then, it's worth noting that they're on a table, like, Wesley's on one side, Karen's on the other side, and Wesley puts, like, a gun on the table as, like, a threatening gesture. But eventually, Kingpin comes out and realizes Wesley's gone, so he calls him, and Karen uses that very brief distraction to grab the gun and point him and hold him at gunpoint. In which case, they have a very brief game of just verbal chess. And then when Wesley just tries to call her on her bluff, she fucking shoots him. Shoots him dead. Just flat out fucking kills him. And it was like, oh my god, they actually went there. Okay. Whew. Fucking great episode. A lot of shit to talk about. It looks like I'm only 2 episodes away. Finally get the Daredevil suit. Can't wait to see it. Maybe we'll get the next episode. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna watch the next episode. Yeah, fucking loved it. Bye.